What is up? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm Ant, and I'm joined by the former Le Champion.
You really have to stick that on me, don't you?
I mean, I see your name on here as Le Champion, and
I haven't changed it yet. I'm sorry.
so I just saw it and had to say, if for those of you who don't know, Dan lost his title at Elimination Chamber. So
I swear, we have a curse. Someone put a curse on us to whenever we have a new person on this show, they somehow take the title from us. I don't know how.
I told you we got to work together, man. It was supposed to be an unholy alliance, but
We were working together. The only time we weren't working together was the Elimination Chamber match, and look how that ended up.
Well, we still have WrestleMania, man, so we got this. And we also have Revolution, which is AEW's pay-per-view on March 5th, which we'll be covering too. But if you do want to hear our predictions and the official recap for Elimination Chamber, those are in the archives. Definitely check those out. But today, you are checking out our Monday Night Raw, February 21st, 2022 recap. A lot of stuff happening. We found out some more matches for WrestleMania. And we found out that there's a roadblock facing our WWE Champion, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar!
There you go. The next Paul Heyman. So, by the way, what are we going to call you now? Now that's not like champion, it's just going to be Dan?
Macho Man Dan, I guess.
Dan, okay. All right. Well, there you go. All right. So, except for this
Hey, I'd love to be the next Paul Heyman, though. Shit, Paul Heyman's got some good lines he said in the past.
He sure does. And he's really good at, like, just being a great heel. I have something to say. This is really random. And I was just reading it the other day. It doesn't really have anything really. Well, it does have something related to Raw. FTR, or the Revival, known in WWE, Dax Harwood, that's the member of Revival, for those who don't know. He was on Renee Paquette's interview on Phil. It's like the sessions with Renee Young. It used to be called the oral sessions, which I don't know why she would choose that name. But anyway, during the interview, he talks about I think it was like an anniversary show that Raw did where they were in Madison Square Garden and they were somewhere else. And he talks about when DX pretty much attacked the Arrival and buried them. And he remembers telling Shawn Michaels this like story about growing up and how Shawn Michaels was a great person and da-da-da. And during that time, Shawn was like, you know, when it was in private, Shawn was very helpful and like, oh, I'm sorry you went through that. Da-da-da-da. But then he claims that when Shawn was in front of his friends, in front of DX, who also laughed and joked about Dax, he was hurt because Shawn Michaels laughed at him with the friends and pretty much buried him. But when Shawn was alone, he was a different person. So I find that interesting because normally, you know, DX for me is like one of my favorite groups, but to hear that they were assholes.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? I don't mean like burying like the sense of like what he meant, but what this reminds me of, it reminds me of when the Ascension came up from NXT, and like I think it was like 2015, and then all of a sudden, for when it was, I don't know what it was like before the Royal Rumble, I believe, the APA came out, and you know they were talking trash and everything, and then they just suddenly started attacking them and burying them, and and basically after that, the Ascension was pretty much nothing on the main roster.
Yeah.
It was all made just for one it was made for a feel-good moment for the people who used to watch the APA. That was all it was, and they buried a new tag team just to do it.
And that's, like you said, pretty much what happened with Revival. I mean, after that, they really didn't have any big moments in WWE. NXT, they sure did, but like Adam Cole, who never really fought for WWE, his only time in WWE was spent in NXT. But really random. I just thought that was something interesting to hear that Shawn Michaels was a dick. I mean, I knew he was in the past, but to hear that he still is, it's kind of sad because Shawn Michaels is a great proponent of having new talent rise. And so it was proponent. Sorry. This is why Macho Man Dan is a great co-host, because he always has my back when I mess up.
Yep.
So Raw comes to you from Columbia, South Carolina, and the WWE.
I would have gone to the show too. I really would have too.
That's
Just
right,
didn't want to spend the money.
because you're out in that area, right?
Yeah, I am. Let's see. I want to say I'm like about an hour or two away from Columbia.
Okay. All right. So you're kind of near where Cody Rhodes is. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, next time they're in that area, maybe you can go see what happens.
Yeah, like I said, it's just I don't know. WWE just hasn't been piquing my interest lately, so I just didn't really want to go and spend the money for it.
100%. I mean, when you can get it on.
If it was AEW, now maybe that would have been a different story.
Speaking of AEW, nice segue, Macho Man Dan. Our first AEW Dynamite recap will be dropping this weekend at some point. I think Sunday. I went to my first Dynamite show in Bridgeport. It was a great show. A lot happened. Did Bryan Danielson accept Jon Moxley's challenge? What did CM Punk have to say to MJF? A lot of stuff happened on that show, so be on the lookout for that. But again, we're in Columbia for Raw, and the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar comes down. And we found out this is exactly what's happening at WrestleMania. It will be winner take all, title versus title. And that match will main event night 2 of WrestleMania. We also found out that Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey will main event night 1 of WrestleMania.
Yeah, like we all wanted to see that main event.
I'm dying to see it, Dan.
I'm totally dying as if we haven't seen this match before.
Well, that's what I keep saying. It's like it's the WrestleMania rewind is what it should be called. It's like every fucking match has happened before. That's been announced so far. I mean, there's other matches that have been announced, but we'll get to there. So Brock Lesnar has a mic, and he thanks us. I loved how he goes. He goes, "Thank you very kindly," which I really loved because Brock Lesnar is just a fucking dominant human being. To hear him say "thank you very kindly" really meant something.
Yep.
He says, "Your WWE champion in Columbia," and then before he can continue, Paul Heyman comes down. Paul Heyman says that he doesn't suck because the fans say he sucks. Paul says he's a special counsel for the only real true world champion of WWE, Roman Reigns. He tells Brock Lesnar that there is a roadblock in your way, farm boy. For 20 years, Paul Heyman took care of the small details for Brock. And he tells Brock that you have to defend your WWE title on March 5th at Madison Square Garden, which means you won't make it to WrestleMania as champion. And then Brock says, "Well, I can still appreciate you, even though you're still such a dick." Brock says, "I already know where I'm supposed to be on March 5th." And Paul says, "Well, you will be taking on Bobby Lashley for the title. However, if Bobby can't compete because of the concussion, Paul Heyman will find a suitable replacement for Bobby Lashley." Brock then says, "Friday night, you'll be next to your little tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Guess where I'll be Friday?" And then Brock says he's coming to SmackDown, and that is the end of that segment. 2 questions here. First, will the roadblock for Brock Lesnar at Madison Square Garden leave him without a title?
Well, first, I'm sorry to kind of break the question off, but first, I just have one question of my own. How the fuck does Paul Heyman all of a sudden make fucking matches? I thought that was Adam Pearce who did that, or fucking Sonya Deville or whatever. I thought they made the matches. Suddenly, Paul Heyman has creative control again or something. I don't know. But, yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
Well, yeah, it's like at this point, it's a fucking free-for-all. The Wild West show, everybody does whatever the fuck. Remember when...
Yeah, but that pisses me off because Sonya's like, I make the matches. Really, then I guess Paul Heyman does too. Fuck.
Well, also not for nothing, we were supposed to still be in fucking charge at this point.
Yeah, that's right. We were supposed to be the authority.
All right, so...
also, I also want to fix what you said. He said, if it's not Bobby Lashley, it's going to be somebody else, in Paul Heyman's words. He said it wasn't going to specifically be Bobby Lashley. If it is, it is. If it isn't, it's going to be somebody else who will take the title from him.
Well, can I give you my thoughts here? I have a thought, and I don't want to spoiler alert. I don't know if it's spoiler or not. But
This is not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
yeah, pretty much. But this is just a thought that I'm having. So it just clicked to me that the AEW pay-per-view Revolution is going to be on March 5th, the same day as the Madison Square Garden show. What if, and this is just me, being the most basic person I can be, what if at Madison Square Garden, Cody shows up?
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, if it's the same night, it's Madison Square Garden, which was WWE's home for years.
Okay, but do you really think Cody's going to beat Brock Lesnar?
Oh, well, here is the thing. Either A, no, he's just going to return, lose to Lesnar, and then, do his own thing at Mania or whatever. Or, because again, here's the implication and the stipulation that matters. Title versus title. Whoever wins is going to be having both titles, or they're going to unify the belts. Does that mean that winner will be on both Raw and SmackDown? Does that mean that they're going to have
Well, that would leave the draft that they did a few months ago worthless.
So my question is, if they wanted to do things differently, right? They have Reigns screw over Brock, Cody become champion, so that way it's not winner take all. Because if they do winner take all, then one show is going to be without a title and people are going to get bored, I think. If you're going to have the one champion fighting the same person, but how is that going to work? That means less people are going to have opportunities. And I feel like
or they have to do double duty.
Or double duty, which I highly doubt.
Well, I mean, it's not uncommon for WWE to do that. I mean, they've done it before.
I just feel like they just did a draft. Why would they get rid of a title when there's two different brands and one brand has Reigns exclusively? It's not like Reigns can switch. I mean, he could if that's what WWE wants to do. But right now in the storylines, he is a SmackDown superstar.
True.
So both those titles technically at WrestleMania could stay on SmackDown, which then would mean Raw doesn't have a main champion.
Yeah, which is the whole point of the Universal Championship in the first place. Because if you remember in the 2016 draft, the main WWE title was taken to SmackDown. So therefore, they had to get a new title for Raw, the Universal title.
Unless, again, they're going to say, screw the draft. We're going to do it like the back in the days. It's going to be one pay-per-view and everyone, it's a free-for-all. You can go to Raw, SmackDown, do whatever you want to do. That could happen. Or they can
I would love that.
That would be great. Or they can make Lesnar lose at Madison Square Garden. Whether or not it's against Cody, it's whatever. But unless they don't want to see Raw go on without a champion, then they're going to have to end that winner-take-all match, and Lesnar might not be champion. Or Reigns might not be champion. One of them, unless they're going to say, you know what? So there's just a lot of different options. But what do you think is going to – do you think Brock is going to leave March 5th WWE champion still?
I see what you're saying, and I would absolutely love to see Cody Rhodes come back and win the WWE title. I would love to see that. Do I think it's going to happen? No, this is fucking WWE. They're going to screw it up like they always fucking do. Get our hopes up, screw it up.
He's come back from the galaxies.
Yeah. He comes back as Stardust and wins the WWE title. I would like to see that too. That'd be funny as fuck to me. But no, it's WWE. They're not gonna do that. They're just gonna have Brock retain him at the Roadblock or whatever the fuck, I don't know what it's called. So no, I don't see why he would lose it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on. Next, we have Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens backstage, and Kevin says you're looking at the best tag team on Raw tonight when they beat RK Bro. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens will be added to the Raw Tag Team title match in 2 weeks. Kevin says WrestleMania will be stupendous because of us. Kevin claims it will It will make it better that WrestleMania is taking place in the hellhole of Dallas, Texas, them being tag team champions. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Next, we have the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Alpha Academy, taking on the Street Profits. Montez Ford lifts up Otis, but he loses his balance, and Otis falls on top of Montez Ford, and Chad Gables holds Montez's feet on the mat. So my question is, who do you think, which team, it can be Rollins and Kevin, it can be any team, which team is a worthy challenger for the Raw Tag Team titles?
Ooh, that's a good question. Shit. There's not really many tag teams left to pick, though.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I guess I have to go with Kevin and Seth, but the problem is with that is that the fact that I don't know. To me, it feels like Kevin and Seth were thrown together. Like they never planned on having it. It was just, oh, well, we got to do something with these guys. This is the best idea we've got. That's what I feel it was. It's not like, oh, yeah, we've been planning on doing this for months. Yeah, that way they can have a feud. No, it's just a thrown together thing. And honestly, as much as it is a good idea for them to do that, WWE is going to break them up very quickly. They always do it. For example, Chris Jericho and AJ Styles. Yeah. AJ Styles and Omos. Fuck, I could go on and on. Enzo and Cass. That's what WWE does. I don't get why they do it, but they do it.
Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys.
Well, I mean, the Hardy Boys were together for years.
But what I'm saying is, like, for example, they were together in WWE. They were known from '99, right? That's when they kind of broke out. They broke up. Initially, they had them fight in 2001. So they've always,
fair.
Whether or not they break up, they've always done the, oh, well, can I trust my partner? My partner's going to screw me over type thing.
Well, yeah, it's always because, for example, the ones that worked were Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, or something off the top of my head, or The Shield, that kind of work.
Single tag team has broken up in WWE.
Huh?
Pretty much every tag team, aside from the ones that were working in NXT that didn't really come up, have broken up. FTR,
yeah, pretty much.
But they weren't in WWE long enough to do that, I think. Had they been?
Yeah.
Breaking up.
Well, no, not technically if you think about it. I mean, Enzo and Cass got to the main roster in 2016. They broke up, late 2016?
Well, they got to the roster in 2016, and they broke up, I'd say, 2018.
Nah, I think it was more. Maybe it was 2017. I don't know.
Because I know that Daniel Bryan was fighting Big Cass, and then Cass got fired shortly after that feud.
Yeah, that wasn't 2018, wasn't it?
I don't know. I
don't know. I think it was very obvious that they just threw them together. It wasn't like, oh, we've been planning for months.
But also,
and that really hurts me because Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens are both really good talent. They could have say Kevin Owens go after the U.S. Championship again. I don't know, something better than just putting him in a worthless tag team.
And the problem is a lot, I feel like they throw these teams together, they challenge, they lose a tag title match, they get dropped, they fight each other. It's just, teams can work together for years, and it's fine. They don't always have to break up, But
yeah.
All right, so next we see Tommaso Ciampa is backstage. He has a partner to take on the Dirty Dogs tonight, and his partner is Finn Balor, who is returning to Monday Night Raw. The match was decent. Tommaso Ciampa was able to roll up Robert Roode to get the win for his team. Kind of similar question that we were just talking about. How long will this team between Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa last, and do you want to see it last?
I would like to see it last, but do I think it's going to last? No.
No one will survive.
Honestly, I'm surprised. I keep forgetting that Tommaso Ciampa's on fucking Raw.
Well, he just sort of came on. That's a weird word. He showed up on Raw, I think last week. So it was news.
I know. Well, I saw it last week, and I was like, oh, wait, isn't he still on NXT? And then I was like, wait, no, he's on Raw.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why do they keep putting fuck? I just thought of this. Fucking what was his tag team with Johnny Gargano? Fuck, what was that tag team name? They got broken up, but they were at least a tag team for a while. They were like best friends. That's why that shit works. WWE is like, oh, we're gonna put these guys together and then we're just gonna break them up. No, it doesn't work like that, and that's what annoys me because they can do tag team wrestling. They were good at tag team wrestling back in like the 90s, but now they don't give a shit. They don't, and it hurts, man. They could do so. And honestly, you ask me, AEW has the exact opposite problem. All it is pretty much tag team wrestling. I don't know. I guess I have a problem with it because nobody can give me like a good tag team division where it's like, oh, we're gonna give you all, but we're not gonna give you all. You know what I mean?
I think that's why a lot of people appreciate the factions and the tag teams in AEW because really the only faction that really broke up was the Inner Circle, and that was supposed to happen. And that didn't happen until just last week, 2 weeks ago, and Inner Circle started in 2019. So these things, they last long, and WWE, I feel like they have a problem where they're very much like, okay, we want to get the story done in 2-3 months and then move on. That people lose feelings for the wrestlers when you do that, because if that program ends, there's really no benefit to anyone because the losers aren't winning anything. The winners just keep winning, and that doesn't really mean anything. So I feel like they need to build these stories.
I feel like the tag team that's been together the longest is the Usos.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, that's like the one tag team. That's the one tag team they haven't broken up yet.
The New Day.
All right. Well, to be fair, they kind of broke up. If we're being fair, they kind of broke up with the draft.
Well,
they're not even really the New Day anymore.
I don't even know what the hell they are. Two idiots. All right. Next, we have Miz TV.
Like us.
Yeah, pretty well. Speak for yourself, Dan. Miz had a realization this weekend. Most of us don't get off of our couches. We wish we could be like The Miz. Despite The Miz and Ray's physical differences, The Miz and Ray are not that different. The fans admire Ray. All of us fans can't be trusted, supposedly, he says. He claims he found a new tag team partner. This partner is dashing and comes from a fighting family. Rey Mysterio comes down with Dominic and says, whoever this outsider is should go back and give a WrestleMania moment to someone who deserves it. The Miz says, does Dominic deserve a contract, or did Daddy give it to you? Dominic says, I watched WWE since I was 7. He was in the arena. He says, Ray brought me here, but I'll do whatever it takes to stay here. This is Dominic's life. And then the Miz is like, all right, whatever. I challenge you two to a match at WrestleMania. And he introduces his partner, social media megastar, Logan Paul. And Logan Paul comes down and he says, no disrespect, but I got pull toys bigger than you. He says that to Ray. Dominic Mysterio accepts the match, and then Logan Paul and the Miz attack the Mysterios. They send Ray into the ring post, and they do the same to Dominic. Logan Paul sends Ray into the Miz so the Miz can hit a skull-crushing finale. And then Logan Paul leaves out Dominic with his own skull-crushing finale. So we know our WrestleMania will be the Miz and Logan Paul against Ray and Dominic Mysterio. Is Logan Paul going to do well in his WrestleMania match?
I'm confused. What?
What do you mean?
You were cutting out. That's why I'm confused.
I was talking about Logan Paul teaming with The Miz, take on the Mysterios.
Oh.
And my question was, do you think Logan is going to do well at WrestleMania? He hasn't really had a real match. Bad Bunny wrestled last year. How do you think he's going to shape up to Bad Bunny?
I think he's going to come up nowhere near him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't really care for Bad Bunny, but at least he put on a decent show.
Yes.
Fucking Logan Paul ain't gonna do shit.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know. They keep wanting to have a celebrity appearance. I hate this shit.
Yeah.
No one cares for it. I'll give you an example. Maybe last year wasn't so bad. But, for example, Snooki. Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather. No one gives a crap. Why keep doing it? I don't get it.
Big money.
I guess so.
They think that, social media fans love Logan Paul. They'll buy WrestleMania to see him fight. And that's
No one gives a shit about him. He's way past popular. I mean,
dude, I agree with you. I'm not into any of the social media shit. I don't know nothing about him or the family. I know his brother fucks people up. However, I don't really care either. But if I was young and because I remember when Snooki fought, I thought it was cool because I was a Jersey Shore fan at the time. I was in high school and I was all into that shit. So maybe if I would, because I know that that's what everyone's into now. It's the Twitch and the YouTube and all that shit.
oh my God, you're like a 60-year-old man. I don't know what you kids like nowadays.
I really don't. I mean, it's bad. But I guess, it's a showcase. Who knows? All right. Next, we have almost a superhero, Nikki ASH, taking on Rhea Ripley for like the 10th time. Rhea gets the win again after Riptide. Really nothing here. When is this going to end, this rivalry?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's just, at this point, it's filler, and it's making me, you're going to, not like this, Dan, but it's making me not like Rhea Ripley. I feel like all we're doing is seeing her beat Nikki almost a superhero, and it's like, at this point, you've beaten her 4 times. What else are you going to give her?
No, I gotta say,
I'm genuinely bored.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I do.
We then get a Hall of Fame promo for The Undertaker. Congratulations, man. That is a huge accomplishment for The Undertaker. I mean, it's obvious we knew he was going to be in it, but it's weird. We're getting old. All right.
Yeah.
Next, we have the WWE United States Championship on the line. The champion, Damian Priest, defending against Shelton Benjamin with his Hurt Business tag team partner, Cedric Alexander. Damian gets the win after a South of Heaven chokeslam and the Reckoning. After the match, Damian Priest grabs a mic. He gives credit to Shelton Benjamin, and he says, I've beaten everyone that stepped up to me and remained United States champion. I want his next opponent. He is volunteering his title against someone of world title caliber. Now, throughout the night, we kept getting teases of, maybe Cody, the world caliber, the dashing from The Miz earlier. But what seems to be the challenger, Finn Balor, comes out and he accepts the United States title challenge from Damian Priest. So, Dan, do you think Finn Balor will be the new United States champion?
I would love to see Finn Balor's new United States. I would love to see that.
It would be
I don't really see it happening, though.
Dude, wait. Didn't they fight in NXT at one point?
I think so.
And if they had a hell of a match, if they did. If I'm right, they had a hell of a match. Let me look it up. I think it might have been in your house. Was it in your house?
Probably. I don't know. I didn't watch NXT. You know that.
I'm just looking up really quick. Sorry, everyone is wrong. Yes, dude, they had... Dude, go on Peacock, watch NXT TakeOver in your house, the first one. Phenomenal match. The two of them killed it. WWE doesn't really tend to put on the great matches like NXT does, but kill it, guys. Kill it. All right, so we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Raw Women's title picture. Bianca Belair goes face-to-face with Becky Lynch. We also have Edge in the ring making, an announcement about WrestleMania. And we have the main event, Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens taking on RK Bro. Everything more to talk about. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yes, definitely shake. I almost sounded Irish. Check out Anchor.fm for all of your podcast needs. With Anchor, you can create your podcast for free and distribute it to many different streaming platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, and Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts too, sorry. Not Apple Music. I'm like losing my mind. We're not releasing any music, guys and gals. If we did, I don't know who would listen to it. But yes, check us out wherever spot. What is that?
You can't speak.
I can't. Follow us wherever podcasts are streaming. Give us a 5-star rating too. That would be great. Also, check us out on YouTube, the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to stay notified when new content is created. Yes, we love doing this, and we recently have growing our fan base, and we appreciate you all for checking us out. And hopefully with the coverage of AEW and Impact Wrestling, we'll have more listeners. Thank you all for staying tuned and supporting us and checking us out. Back to Raw. So we have the 2022 Women's Elimination Chamber winner, Bianca Belair, comes down to the ring. And Bianca says, your girl is going back to WrestleMania. She made history last year. She claims that the Elimination Chamber was filled with tough women, but she is the hardest working woman in WWE. In 6 weeks, she'll show Becky Lynch you can't spell WrestleMania without a little EST. Becky Lynch then comes down to the ring. She congratulates Bianca and says, you have only two women, she says you have only two women that main evented WrestleMania, and the two of them are going to fight. She goes, don't forget, she tells Bianca, you only main event WrestleMania because I did it first. That's what Becky means. Bianca says, well, you did it first, but I did it better, which, her match against Sasha was a great, great match. Becky versus Ronda versus Charlotte was all right, but really didn't need Charlotte in there. So then Becky says, no one has beaten me for the Raw title in 3 years. She beat Bianca for the SmackDown Women's title in 26 seconds. Bianca says, okay, listen, that's true. And I listened to you. I went to the back of the line, and I did all of this, and now I'm ready to fight you. Becky claims that she is a victim, meaning herself, Becky. Before you, these people loved me. Because I beat you, Bianca, these people turned on me. Because they despise me, I despise you. And Becky says, you saw what I did to Lita, someone I love. Think of what I will do to someone I despise. And then Bianca challenges Becky, but then Bianca's opponent, Doudrop, comes out. So before we talk about this match, who do you think is going to leave WrestleMania champion? And also, who do you think won in this battle of arguments? Do you think Becky made a stronger point than Bianca? Who won this promo battle?
Well, truthfully, I didn't care about either one woman, but that's me.
You're breaking my heart. You don't care about Becky Lynch? My heart is broken and torn. It's okay. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know. Bianca just doesn't need another match at WrestleMania for a women's title because we all know that she's gonna win it because she got screwed out of her title at SummerSlam. Oh, poor me, I get screwed out of the title. Oh, I deserve it back. No, I don't care, okay? You weren't that good of a champion anyways. I'm gonna be straight at you. Weren't even that good of a champion. Just gonna say that. But I mean, I guess technically neither woman won, but I guess if I had to pick one, I'll go with Becky. I don't know. I believe her words more than I believe Bianca because she's playing that, oh, look at me, I'm the good girl. I'm better than everybody. Like, I don't care. I want to see you kick somebody's ass. I don't want to see you talk and blah, blah, blah. Say, oh, I'm going against her at WrestleMania and I'm going to whoop her ass because of what she did to me at SummerSlam. No one wants to hear it. Fucking fight. No one wants to hear it. Or attack her backstage. I don't know. Do something like that.
All right. Okay. I hear you. I agree. I would like to see Becky versus Bayley, but all right. Next, we have Bianca Belair taking on Doudrop, and Bianca showed her powerhouse strength. She nails a spine buster. Dewdrop lands a Michinoku driver, but then Bianca lands a huge powerbomb and a KOD to get the win. Do you think Bianca is the strongest woman in WWE right now?
Hell no.
Who is that in your opinion?
That sounds stupid, but Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe she could break people's arms, but I wonder how tall Ronda is. Because Layla Hirsch, she's another, I think she's in the MMA, UFC, I don't know, but she's another fighter. She's really short. Okay, moving on. Edge comes down to the ring, and he says it's good to be back. Edge has buzzed his ass for 10 years to get WrestleMania back in his life. He goes for, what was it? He goes, WrestleMania 38 has been stuffed for 38 WrestleManias, it's been stuffed for your dreams. He wants to soak into the energy so he can be phenomenal. He steps up to the challenge at WrestleMania. He needs WrestleMania. And he says you can't call WrestleMania stupendous without Edge. He needs someone to step up, stand across the ring against me. You will fight me at Mania. When you do fight me, I promise you, you will live forever in history of WrestleMania. Very passionate speech from Edge. Who do you think will step up and make the challenge to Edge for WrestleMania?
Who? That's a good question. I don't really have an idea of who could do it, but if I had to pick somebody I'd like to see do it, I'd like to see Kevin Owens do it.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Edge. That would be different and good.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been saying Styles. Some people have been saying Cody. But Kevin Owens is an interesting pick. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'm a big KO fan too, so why not? Well, speaking of Kevin Owens, we have come to our main event. Kevin Owens and Seth Freakin Rollins taking on RK Bro. If Seth and Kevin win, they are added to the Raw Tag Team title match in 2 weeks. And that ends up happening. KO and Seth get the win, and they will be in the running for tag team titles. Do you think Seth and Kevin are going to be new Raw Tag Team champions in 2 weeks?
No.
No. You think they're going to lose?
Yep.
Okay. Well, they could. I mean, I don't really want to see them as champions. I want to see them do their own thing separate. But only WWE, you never know. They could be tag team champions. But
yeah, they could be.
They could be. What I do know is we will be back pretty soon with our SmackDown recap. Also, we have Impact Wrestling, our recap for that episode coming out. Be on the look for a couple of new episodes of Raw's War from the Attitude Era. SmackDown recap coming to you. AEW Dynamite. So much. Be on the lookout. Thank you everyone for checking us out. Stay safe, and we will talk with you soon. Bye.
Bye.